And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
All right, it is definitely time for a new edition of the Weighing In Show because we've got so much to talk about. Big fights happened last night. They happened in Vegas. Jared Cannonier trying to take Izzy's belt. That didn't happen. Max Holloway trying to take Alexander Volkanovski's belt. That didn't happen. Robbie Lawler getting knocked out. That did happen. Oh, my God. There was a lot of things happening. Brian Barberena, you are a stud, dude. I love the way you fight. My man, you were at the Fight Companion in Calabasas with Brendan Schaub, Luke Rockhold, and some little midget comedian that knew nothing about MMA.
He was such a nice guy, though. His name's Trevor Wallace. He's a comedian as well, but he's got a huge following. I honestly, in full disclosure, I never heard of him, but he was so nice. I figured he had a pretty big following since he was there with Brendan, and he was extremely nice. Great guy. Talked a lot after the show. He didn't talk a lot during the show.
He didn't talk a lot during the show because he did not know anything.
There was a moment. Has
he ever watched a fight?
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you because there was a moment there where he goes, "So who's like the biggest guy in MMA?" And I'm like, "Oh," and we all looked at each other like, "Oh yeah, probably Connor." And then he goes, "No, like the biggest guy, and he's like, and we're like, there's weight classes, right?" And he goes, "Oh, there is?" I was like, "Oh no,
dude, he's going back to 1993." He wasn't even born in 1993. I don't think.
He was so nice though. It was fun to be around. Talked with him before the show, talked with him after the show, and we had some back and forth a little bit during the show. Super nice guy, comedian as well. He's got some shows coming up as well. And then Luke came in. Luke doing what Luke does, what normally he does. Comes in 25 minutes late. He shows up late, just walks in. He's got his aviators on, but they're like the yellow aviators, got the yellow lenses. Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's when you're dealing with Luke Rockhold, you're a Ralph Lauren model, and you're just coming. The funniest part is, right? He comes in.
Time starts when you arrive.
He comes in. He's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "Hey, it was so good to see him. I haven't seen him in a long time, like in person. See him all the time. We chat over through FaceTime occasionally here and there, but man, he comes in. I look at him. I'm like, bro. Your shirt has like 5, 6, 7 stains on it. Did you not wash it? Did you? What, you didn't get like you came. He's got like on.
I ain't got time to wash shit.
Yeah, he had the stains on the shirt. He was picking up his food, and it was so fun. He talks when he's chewing into the mic, and I was like, and then he gets away from the mic every time when he's talking. He like leans back in the chair. I had to keep pushing the mic towards him, but it was good to see him. I'm glad he looks ripped, man. I saw him afterwards, and I saw like he took his shirt up a little bit. I was like, "Damn, dude, you're fucking lean right now." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "This has been a long camp because remember he was getting ready for Costa before."
Yep.
And then Costa pulled out because he had to get his hair plugs, and so then he pulled out of the procedure. He also was getting ready
for Strickland and then got hurt.
Yeah, that's true. He hurt his back. Yeah, so he's been in a long camp. So, well, a lot of people were talking about he was drunk. This, that. I'm like, he hasn't drank in over 6 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, Luke just talks that way. That's the way Luke is. So he just kind of has a little bit of a, yeah.
When you're that cool and you've done it with all these superstars, you're the man.
Yeah. When you're when you're on billboards in Times Square, Ralph Lauren, fucking, who cares? Say whatever you want. It's so funny. He said I didn't know this. He's like, oh yeah, because someone asked, I think Brandon asked, he's like, "Hey, so do you have a tattoo?" Because I was like, "No, I don't have a tattoo." And he looks at Luke, he's like, "You got tattoos?" He's like, "Yeah." He's got one. He holds his pinky up, and he's got a little smiley face on the end of his pinky. It's a tattoo, and and then he goes, "Yeah, it's my first date with Demi Lovato." That was his. They went and got tattoos. I was like, "Oh wow, that's okay."
Hey, you gotta be very impressed with Luke when it comes. Luke, I mean, here's a guy that took a pop star and he actually drove her into becoming a lesbian. That's pretty impressive.
Is she a lesbian now?
I don't know. She's non-binary, so I don't know.
I don't know
what it is now. So I could be definitely talking out of turn there. I was just joking though.
I don't know. I
had a friend.
You start talking about.
I had a friend one time, and that was my big thing. He was a player, and he got married had a beautiful wife, beautiful family, and he was always screwing around. And finally his wife, that's it, she leaves him, and she leaves him for another woman. I said, dude, you're the only guy I know that could drive a woman towards lesbianism. Just drive her there.
No. I've got 3 friends. I've got 3 friends that their wives left them, and now they're with other women. Yeah. 2 of them are married and I think they have kids.
Men have that ability to be that caustic that we
yeah
to the other side.
This is true. I also, but in return, I have a girlfriend. Her husband left and is now with another man, so he's gay.
Yeah, he was gay from the start, though.
Yeah, he was gay from the start. She was probably lesbian from the start. They were
maybe.
So
I don't think one day all of a sudden you're a heterosexual, then all of a sudden I'm gay. It doesn't happen.
We were going to get into this news later on because we were talking about Rockhold. I know that Lou's late. We'll talk about that news at the end with the Rockhold comments and stuff. But first, go to WeighingInPodcast.com, pick up some of our merch, and we also have a new 5 rounds main event T-shirt that is out. Great artwork put together. And who did that? Who did the artwork there, Dave?
Rebel Line Artwork on Instagram.
Nice. You guys check them out. They do some good work. They were actually reached out to they hooked up with Dave, and they were able to put the design together for our 5 rounds main event short show that we do on our Clips channel. You guys check it out. It's a fun little show that we do. We're going to probably include it this week into our main show, into this show I'd like to do. If we can
just so you can get
we can do last week's show. We'll just include it in this week's show. Add a little flavor to it if we can. But look, this is one of those things where we have fun. We go back and forth. It's a real short. It's only probably no longer than 15 minutes at the most. But John generally loses.
Oh, but dude, why do you have to lie? Why do you have to lie all the time?
John, I actually,
do you realize that this is all adding up over time?
I read the comments. I got destroyed. Apparently, I guess I did. It was like I had like 6 people say it was like a 10-8 round for me. But then the rest of them all said I lost. I was like, you guys are just haters, man. You guys hate me like you guys hate Rockhold. I don't understand. This must be the looks and the jawline, clean teeth. I get it. I got white teeth. I get it. I brushed mine. But anyways, look. But before we get into anything else, let's go right into the UFC Hall of Fame. Let's talk about my boy Khabib, and my other boy DC. Congratulations to both of them being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
I did watch the but the post interviews from the Hall of Fame inductions, and it's gonna just eat Khabib up the rest of his life that DC went in literally 2 minutes before him. It's gonna drive him nuts.
Why are you kidding?
It's driving him nuts.
That matters.
Yeah, it does apparently to DC. He's like, no, it's gonna bug Khabib that I actually got my trophy first, so I went in first. I actually officially
went in at the same time. It's the same date.
No. Time matters. Time matters. It's
hold on. That's like saying, here, I opened the door for you so you can walk in. So I'll hold the door. You walk in first. You're there first.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how that works.
God.
But it was so funny. It was fun watching them give each other a hard time.
It was, dude, I actually had people, and it's crazy, and no one could ever say it. I guess someone could say it with Nurmagomedov, but people saying DC didn't deserve the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, I'm on Twitter. I'm like, are you kidding? 22-3. The guy fought everyone that you could fight in both weight classes. He fought 5 current or former champions, won against 5 current former. The only guy he couldn't beat was John Jones, really. He beat Stipe. Yeah, he lost to him, but he beat him. The guy had an incredible career as a Grand Prix champion.
And remember who he beat during that Grand Prix?
Oh, my God.
List the names of guys he beat during that Grand Prix.
Let's go. I don't remember who his alternate match was. But his next match is into the actual tournament was against Bigfoot Silva. He knocks Bigfoot Silva out. And he fought Josh Barnett in the finals and destroyed Josh Barnett. You know, he actually
Dave, who did DC beat in the alternate? Come on, Dave, you got to get on top of this stuff, man. I shouldn't have to be telling you. Let's go, buddy.
Shouldn't have to.
I'm gonna have to call up Chin to give you some tips, some pointers. Come on, Dave. Who did he beat? So right before he fought Bigfoot Silva, Jeff Munson.
Okay.
He beat Jeff Munson in the alternate. That's another big name. Match. Sorry. That's another big name.
Jeff Munson, Bigfoot Silva, then Josh. But okay, I mean, just take a look. Since his record is up there, take a look at that. Bigfoot Silva, Josh Barnett, go down. Frank Mir. I know he beat Big Country. He beat Roy Nelson. Yep, there it is. Beat Patrick Cummings. destroyed Dan Henderson, lost to John Jones, beat Anthony Johnson twice, beat Alexander Gustafsson, beat Anderson Silva. I mean, what do you want from somebody?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
The thing is, he destroyed Derek Lewis. He knocked out Stipe when he did beat him for the title, for the heavyweight title.
Yep.
Ozdemir, he just tooled all over the place. I mean, he should have been at heavyweight the whole time. The reason why he went to 205, is because Kane was there. And when Kane was going through the battle with the WWE as well as with the UFC on how much to pay him and this and that, DC was down at light heavyweight making his run. Now, if DC would have been able to beat John Jones, then it would have all been for a great purpose. But since he was not able to beat him, there's that talk that he shouldn't have been in. That's a bunch of crap. Who look at who you're comparing him to.
Hold on. How do you sit there and you look and go, because you can't beat the guy who's actually one of the best ever to do it, that means you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
This guy was a just sensational wrestler who turned into a sensational MMA fighter who dominated very good fighters. He did everything that you could ask. The only thing he didn't do was beat John Jones.
Yeah.
That was it.
I would have liked to have seen him make that run, though, while Kane was away, if he'd have went back up to heavyweight. But then he'd already had his eyes set on fighting John Jones. It was already too close, and he knew that he was right there. But if he would have just stayed at heavyweight, because Kane left shortly after DC went down to 205 and was starting to make his run. Kane left shortly after. I would have liked to have seen DC go up right away, because he was a way better fighter at heavyweight. And not taking anything away from what he did at 205. It's just his power didn't translate when he dropped to 205. He didn't have the same pop. He didn't have the same power. And not to mention, he was always a better wrestler than the majority of every heavyweight that he ever faced. He was a better wrestler. Then he was also faster. That's how I started giving him that Kung Fu Panda name, was because he could do things that heavyweight guys couldn't do. And you just got to be honest. You've got to be honest with yourself when you're sitting here talking about what he is capable of or what he was capable of at that heavyweight division. He was a better wrestler than most. He had fast hands.
No, stop. He was a better wrestler than all of them.
Yeah,
in the heavyweight division. Let's be honest. I'll give him that.
But
people don't realize DC could wrestle. DC was
good.
Fucking good.
It's so funny how everyone overlooks it because he got taken down by John Jones.
Yeah, well, that's an MMA fight, and that's what happens.
Yeah, this is very true. Now, in terms of, let's talk about who's not a
but hold on.
Go ahead.
But this is the one thing I want to say. I cannot wait to see the people and what they say. Should Donald Cerrone be in the Hall of Fame?
Oh my God,
no doubt.
Are you?
But he's got 5 times plus 5 times the losses that DC has. It's crazy.
I'm surprised they didn't induct him right now.
Thank you. Right as soon as he took his gloves off, they should have said, "All right, we're putting you in right now."
Did Cub Swanson retire?
No.
Why is he in the Hall of Fame then?
Because
the Hall of Fame was after.
No. That's when you have a fight that is inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Got it.
They do it that way, and you can go in, and that's happened with a couple of guys. Diego Sanchez.
Diego Sanchez
had it during that time. So there was different guys. Clay Guida. So that can happen. So
good.
That's just the way.
I wonder, are they going to induct fighters or fights that like, say like you have fighters, right? Like Quentin Jackson and Quentin Jackson and like Vanderlei Silva, because remember they bought Pride. Do you still count those now as Hall of Fame inductees because you own those rights and those those fights?
Let's be honest, they inducted Sakuraba into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, he had one fight in the UFC. Won.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, actually,
I mean, yeah, it's becoming a little bit of a popularity contest.
It's seriously a popularity. If you're on the wrong side of, if you're on the wrong side of Dana, you ain't getting in. If you're a buddy of his, you're getting in.
Well, in all fairness, John, that's not really true. They offered it to Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock told him to shove it up his ass.
Okay,
so he said, "Look, I offered it to you."
Stop.
Go ahead.
Frank
told me he said he shoved it up his ass.
Did.
He's like, I told him to shove it up his ass.
He did. because Dana said, there's no way I'm doing it. There's a guy named Ant Evans who was in charge of it at the time, and he kept on pushing, saying, look, we cannot be looked at as being viable if we don't induct the guy who was the first one that was the middleweight champion and did all these great fights and helped build a sport, help build the UFC. I know you don't like him, and finally Dana said, all right, go ahead and, you can do it. Ant calls him, and that's when Frank says, I don't want it. You can shove that up your ass. I don't want it. And so
is Ant still there?
No, he's not.
Go ahead.
No, he's not.
I know. Tell the story though. Why is he not there? Why is he not there, John?
Well, go ahead. Since you know.
Well, because he pressed so hard for the Frank Shamrock to get in, and
when
Frank
he
told him to
didn't,
shove it.
That was it.
He said, "See you later." You tried.
You wanted this to happen, then you didn't even make it happen after I let you. Okay, goodbye.
Damn, that's ruthless.
That's rough. Well,
this is the other thing, though. I'm going to bring up another name. How the fuck is Jens Pulver not in this thing yet?
Oh, that's easy.
It is?
Okay. Hold on.
What's easy about it? Go ahead. Tell me.
Well, let's take a look
I'm lost.
take a look at Jens's overall record in the UFC. Hold on. Pull it up. You'll see. And the biggest thing, what did I just say? When you pissed Dana off, if you recall, Jens Pulver did what with his lightweight belt?
I don't know.
He threw it in the trash can. He did a whole video. Dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
And he videoed himself throwing it in the trash can. Because that's where, because look, at the time, the UFC was not, big in bucks at the time. And at the time that Jens was fighting as their champion, BJ was the hot ticket coming up, and they fought at UFC 35. And Jens' purse as the champion was 11-11. $22,000 is what he walked away with. Wow. And that's where he wanted more money, and I understand why he wanted more money. I'm not saying he was wrong, but people, it's a different day and age, and the amount of money and things are completely different. But Jens Pulver was a stud, and he's a great fighter. And I agree with you. I think he should be. He was the first lightweight champion in the UFC. I agree with you. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, because those are the kind of things that you can't get away from ever. No one can take that one thing from Jens Pulver ever. He was the first.
I feel like everyone that was the first should automatically be in.
Yeah.
Just my personal opinion.
Just about.
If Frank doesn't want to be in, that's fine.
That's his call.
Yeah, that's his call. If Jens doesn't want to be in, then that's fine. But I feel like he's one of those guys that just gets forgot about. Like, whatever, because, we've had such great lightweights since him. All along from the lightweight division has been the most stacked division, I feel, throughout the UFC of this, Lorenzo Fertitta era. It's been the most stacked division with some of the most exciting fights that they've had in history. Yeah. And so when I look at Jens, he should automatically be in. I think Frank should automatically be in.
Do me a favor, Dave. Take a look and count up the wins and losses of UFC fights for Jens Pulver. Josh and I will continue to talk. But I agree with you. I think Jens, quit looking at it. He'll get it.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't matter what that thing says. I still believe I think he deserves to be in there. I don't care what it says in the UFC. It doesn't bother me.
But I honestly believe it was that throwing the belt in the trash can and that video of it that didn't help, and that's the reason why.
That sucks.
That would be his first fight. Alfonso Alcaraz, that's the first one there.
Jesus, 6 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw.
6 wins, 2 losses. That's still good. And he was beating the who's who at the time. You guys got to remember, there was only 5.
Go down there. He's got to have more losses than 2.
No, in the UFC it's only 2.
Yeah, hold on, go on.
Sorry, you want me to go back up?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see, because I know he lost to
WEF,
to BJ. He lost to
Pride. UFC. There's the 2 UFC losses here: Lozon and BJ Penn.
Right there, because it went to WEC. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
And then it was all non-UFC after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He's
the first. I agree with you. He was the first. I think he should be. Yeah. I would like to see it. I don't know if you're going to, though.
Okay, so let's talk about our other boy here, Khabib.
Come on.
I was in this conversation last night with Brendan and Luke and those guys. Is he the best? Is he the best fighter of all time? I said no.
No.
But is he the best lightweight of all time? I said yes.
Yeah.
Give me another lightweight. But he didn't have a long. That's his issue is, and he's always going to have this issue, is that he fought while he still had a lot left in the tank.
Oh,
and he's retired, which is great. I'm happy for him.
He had years left. If what's going to end up happening with Khabib and his legacy is going to be this: people are going to talk about how great he was, but that he left at the prime when all these people were there wanting shots at him and stuff, and they're going to say that he had more to prove. Did he?
No.
I mean, he didn't have anything he had to prove, but they're going to say, well, there was more people for him to fight, more people to establish that there was no one that was close to him in that division. You got to figure why he left was not just fighting. He left because of his dad. His dad dying of COVID was a huge impact on him staying as an active fighter or him leaving. And you can't, everything changes for people over time. Sometimes that time takes years. Sometimes that time is one day. Mm-hmm. And I think in one day, his whole world changed. And you can't look at it any other way. He is the best lightweight I ever saw. He's the most dominant fighter as far as the way he fought that I ever saw. Is he the best fighter in my opinion? No, I think there's other people out there. I think overall, a better overall fighter, but no one beat him. So anyway, you could argue and tell me, hey, John, you're wrong. Okay, I can be wrong with it.
Yeah,
because no one beat him.
Yeah, I look at it a bunch of different ways. Is that Khabib, to me, like you said, was the most dominant fighter in his weight class, hands down. And when people say, "Oh, he didn't," who did he beat? Well, he destroyed Justin Gaethje. He beat Dustin Poirier. He, sure, maybe he didn't have a long list of guys. And there's always going to be new fighters that come along.
Sure.
Oh, he should have fought him. Oh, this guy, he would have beat him. No. Those guys. Look what. And I'll use Chandler as an example. Everyone's like, "Oh, Chandler and Khabib would be a great fight."
No.
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you right now.
And that has nothing to do with how I feel about, fighters.
No.
Whether I'm biased
I love
to
Mike
Khabib.
Chandler.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you right now, no.
No.
Mike Chandler would have one shot of knocking Khabib out, just same as Justin Gaethje had a shot.
Yeah.
And he'd have been mauled.
And then that's my point is that on that take is that, look, these other fighters that have come up now, the one that really does interest me was the Oliveira fight. Because Khabib has been in trouble in submission-wise with Dustin and training-wise, and I've in the training situation, I've seen him maul top-level black belts, but I've also seen him be in trouble sometimes. I've never seen him get tapped in terms of with grappling in the room, but I've seen him in trouble. I've seen him in really shitty situations, and Charles has a way of finishing,
creating really shitty situations for you.
Exactly. So that fight does really interest me because it does pose a threat on the feet and on the ground. It poses a threat. When you look at Charles Oliveira, he's probably one of the most well-rounded fighters to ever step foot in the cage. And so when I look at him, I say, if I was going to say, oh, there'd be one fight I'd want to see, I'd want to see that fight. All the other fights, Dustin, Colby Covington, or Gaethje, or anybody else in that top, Dariush, no desire. I don't even care. I don't care. They don't pose a threat to him.
How did you put Colby Covington in? He's a different weight class.
Well, there was talk he was going to go to 70. I know he's not going to fight. I know he won't fight Usman. Him and Usman are friends, and they're all managed by Ali. And then there's that love of like, no, I'd never fight Khabib, and Khabib's like, I'd never fight Usman. So you got to throw Colby in there because he's number 2.
Okay.
So that's all I throw it in there.
Right.
There would be no threat there. He would out wrestle Colby, and it's not a Colby hate. It's just he would out wrestle him. He'd stuff all Colby's takedowns, and he would put Colby on his back, and he would maul him like he did everyone else. Especially after seeing what he's doing right now at the weight that he's at, walking around. He is thick right now. We saw him at the last Bellator. I was like, good guy, man, looking small. He's like, yeah, I'm a little big right now. He's like, yeah, I said. So, but I mean,
feeling pretty good.
Luke last night was talking about, he's like, man, he is fucking strong right now. Just strong. He's got cardio. I would love to see him back and fighting at 70 or 85. He'd be a monster, man. He'd be a monster. But I want to tip my hat to him. There's always gonna be fighters that are gonna come up, and fans are always gonna say, "Oh, he would beat Khabib." No, probably not. I mean, you got to think in how dominant. That's the whole conversation. I think with Khabib, how dominant he was for so long. Never lost a round up until the fourth round with what's his name with Connor.
Third,
in third round when he took it off and then finished him in the fourth.
Yep.
He really didn't even lose that round. It was such a close round, and he just didn't do enough.
Some people will say that he lost the first round against Justin.
Yeah, I think the judges gave it to Justin.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But I didn't think so either because he almost finished him at the end of the round.
And it's not so much what Justin's throwing; it's what hits, what lands clean.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
That's true as well.
But by the end, it was definitely Khabib. You're looking and going, yeah, it's his fight. He's going to take it.
Yeah. Yep. But hey, to both my boys, congratulations, you guys, well deserved, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to seeing what's next for these guys in their chapter. DC obviously doing all the stuff on TV. Yeah, DC is doing his thing on TV. He's got his hands in every little thing, which is good for him. And Khabib's just out traveling, just doing everything, being a coach. Yeah. Guys everywhere working with this young talent.
You talk about hard work
and the promoter. That's true, and the promoter for Eagle FC. So congratulations to both of them. All right, well, let's get right into the UFC talk. UFC 276. We normally go in order of when the fights come in. So we normally we'll go PFL because that was on Friday night. We go UFC. But you know what? Today we decided to treat you guys. Okay, you guys can thank us later for it. We're going to go UFC 276 right off the bat. Let's go right to the main event. That's what everyone's been waiting for.
So if you're going to go right to the main event, did it happen like I said?
All right, this show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie's changed their promo, and we're going to go ahead and lay that all out for you. 10% cash up to $200 with one-time rollover and a minimum deposit of $45. This means they only have to wager their money once to get the bonus cash. You hear that? You only got to wager your money one time to get your bonus cash. No more 10 times to wager to get your cash out. Now just that one time. Wager that winnings, you get your money back right after that. Very nice by MyBookie.ag. Also, if you guys use our promo code weighing in, guess what? They give you that little extra spending cash with your first initial deposit. I'm telling you guys right now, John and I had some good picks over this last weekend. UFC, PFL. We talked a lot about that as well. Some baseball we can throw in there as well coming up. I'm not a big baseball fan, but money's to be made from inning to inning and the seventh inning stretch because you guys watch all the time. I'm always tired. Okay, but at MyBookie.ag, use that promo code weighing in. We want to thank you guys for continuing to support us. And make sure you guys lay down those odds at mybookie.ag. Honestly, John, I've told you this so many times. I've got CTE. I don't remember where I left my keys, okay? How the hell am I going to remember what you said 5 days ago?
All right. I said, if Jared Cannonier is going to have any chance, he cannot stay at range against Adesanya. What did he do the entire fight?
Yeah. The only time he looked good is when he was putting Adesanya on his back foot and he was throwing combinations.
He was coming forward and closing that space, taking away. You cannot allow Adesanya to have the range to kick. Limit his tools and limit his abilities to hurt you by. I can see those too. Let me crush this space and take away. Obviously, I have to think about the knee still, but I can take away these kicks, and you're taking away some of this guy's arsenal, and you're putting yourself in a position where Cannonier's got power. He can land a good shot. He landed some good shots in that fight.
Fifth round.
He landed some good shots. There wasn't enough output for him to be able to, take and overcome what Izzy was doing. It just wasn't there. Tough dude. I love the way, he was trying the whole time. You could see, and he was in that, almost that, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. He was kind of like telling himself. And then when you have that, you go, it's rough. It's a rough one because every time Izzy does something, you're like, ugh.
He's gonna look back at this fight, John. He's gonna kick himself in the ass because he knows he could have done more.
I think he could have.
Especially when he was in shape. But I think especially when he sees himself on TV, he's watching it back, going, I landed there, and I should have went a little bit further. Oh, I think he's going to realize, too, in that fifth round, He hit Izzy against the fence, and Izzy kind of stumbled a little bit. Whether he stumbled because his legs went weak or the fence got in the way, I couldn't tell.
I think
but regardless, he could have still pressured a little bit more to land some more combinations, and he sat back.
Yeah.
When you're down 4 rounds to none, or maybe whatever,
maybe
1
3
round,
I thought
3-1.
I think I had it 3-1.
I think I had it 4-1 overall. It's 3-1, but it was it was. But regardless, if you know in that 5th round, this is okay. I hit him. Let me try to touch him some more. You got to get after him. Knowing look, at the end of the day, the L next to your name is still an L.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the L is. Maybe this side L. Anyways.
Put up the other hand.
It's
the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, this the way you're looking at it. This one.
There you go. That's
the way
an L.
you're looking at. There you go.
You're doing good. Okay. You're an L.
Good. So, it was a little frustrating to watch because I felt like he could have done more. Izzy looked flat, didn't look great. He's looked better before. But look, this is one of those situations where he understands that Cannonier's got power. Cannonier could have just decided to let it all go and really put him on his back foot. Izzy has, when I look at Izzy, I look at Alex Bahia also. Both those guys, they have a tendency to fight in a kickboxing style. So when you put pressure on them, they reach a little bit to parry. Okay, they move their head sure a little bit offline, but the shots get through because of the little gloves. So if you can pressure them and make them fight on their back foot, they tend to get hit a little bit more. I think that's why Kelvin Gastelum had such good results when he fought Izzy.
Yeah.
He had success because he was pushing Izzy back and making Izzy get into exchanges.
Yeah.
And Kelvin was landing, but Kelvin was also getting popped too, as we saw. But there was moments there where he was clipping Izzy.
But you gotta
fight him that way.
You gotta really look. There's one thing about Izzy that is absolutely unique. His balance and the way that he can actually bend his body in a way to avoid a shot, but then actually throw with actual a little bit of snap and balance still. He's amazing as far as what he can do and how he can throw off balance, but it still has power on it, and it looks like it's balanced. He's dangerous in the stand-up. He's dangerous everywhere, and you got to be careful. But I do think it's exactly like you're saying. You got to say, well, if I stay to the outside with this guy, he's got all the tools necessary to win the fight. You've got to mix it up and make it to where he's not comfortable. As soon as he's comfortable, you got problems.
But he's going to run into the problem, though, trying to get away with that same type of technique against someone like Alex Bahia. He's going to run into a hard... Is it Bahia or Pereira? Is it Bahia or Pereira? Anyways.
Who knows?
Pereira.
That's all the different ones.
Because a traditional kickboxer is going to find the timing and the rhythm of him dipping his head back or leaning back and attack the legs. Or if he's not leaning back, he's going to go ahead and start touching him to the body, whatever it is. It's gonna make different. You're dealing with MMA guys like Cannonier and whoever else he's fought, and Kelvin Gastelum, who are they're strikers that learned how to strike. They didn't come up in a kickboxing background. They didn't come up fighting world-class level kickboxers.
So they're grapplers who learn how to stand up.
Like grapplers that learn how to stand up. Yeah. So you got to give Izzy credit though. He's learned how to stuff takedowns. He's learned how to use his wide base to keep his hips wide and his legs wide so you can't lock your hands under the butt. He's learned how to do all those things. But Alex ain't going to be trying to take him down.
Nope.
I don't want to say I'm leaning towards Alex. I'm leaning a little bit towards Alex, John.
Well, let's be honest. Alex has 2 wins against Izzy. And no matter, it doesn't matter what, the whole hype thing. And I heard Izzy saying, this is different. This is MMA. That was kickboxing, different guys, small gloves here. Yeah, small gloves here. And Alex is going to have a pair of those on too. Yeah. And here's the thing with Alex. He matches up physically with Izzy.
That's true.
They're both very tall, both about 6'4", both super long range, about 80 inches as far as the length of the reach. Both very strong. And I think Alex is a little bit stronger, a little physically stronger. I think Izzy doesn't get as tired as I've seen Alex at times, but they match up incredibly well. But let's be honest. Alex has got a knockout against him. He knocked him out. He knocked him out. And he's got that kind of power. Izzy doesn't have that one punch knockout power the same as Alex. Alex has got that it when it comes to power. One shot, he can put you out. And you can see, even we'll talk about it, but his fight with Strickland, not only did he hurt him with it, then he hit him with the next and the next because he's accurate. And that's what put Sean, out. So, but look, you can't say anything bad about Izzy. I love the way he handles himself. Outside, you can sit there and say, well, men shouldn't wear pearl necklaces. Okay.
They shouldn't frost tip their nails either, by the way.
Okay. All right. But
I can look past the pearl necklace. The frost tip the nails.
I can look past the frosted. I cannot look past you're talking about TikTok.
This is true. I still remember Valerie Loretta. She ran up to us and she goes, "Hey, follow me on TikTok." And I'm like, I don't have TikTok.
Yeah, I don't have TikTok.
I don't have TikTok. And I mean, I realistically am old enough to be your dad too, by the way. It's like, it's scary. I was like, I don't have TikTok. I was like, oh man, John and I, we were calling the fight side by side. We look at each other like, did she say follow her on TikTok? Like, John, we have TikTok.
I looked at you. I went, TikTok? Really?
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It comes down to, I think with Izzy, I think he's extremely talented. I can't say enough good things about him. I love what he does in terms of building his brand, his entrance, the pearl necklace, whatever, the frosted tips, all of these things, TikTok. I mean, all anime, all of this stuff, I'm down with. I'm down to do whatever makes his career the best.
I love the fact. Look, he's comfortable being him, and he doesn't care if you don't like what he does. He doesn't care about you don't like my frosted tips. I don't give a shit. You don't like my pearls. Too bad. You don't have to wear them. I'm wearing them, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And the one thing I will say off of the whole entire complexity of everything, he catches people's attention.
Yeah.
That walkout he did was basic. Awesome. It was as basic and simple as you could make something, but it spoke volumes about his idea of motivation and how to catch attention. And he's right.
Dave, why? Look, he makes enough money. Why couldn't he hire the big fat guy that comes out with the Undertaker?
He's
the
dead.
Guy. No, I know, but hire someone that looks like him.
Paul Bearer.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get the Paul Bearer. What's that guy's name? Was it just Paul Bearer?
Yeah. Dude, he could have asked. Hell, Vince McMahon was there. He could have asked Mark, the Undertaker, to come out there with him.
The commission guy that was to his right kind of looked like the Paul Bearer guy. All he had to do was put some white makeup on him to make him a little bit more pale. The commission guy to the right looked just like him. The inspector looked like him a little bit. Had a little bit of that like black goatee look going. It was pretty funny.
There was a major miss in that fight, and a couple of misses. First miss was Kane, the Undertaker's brother, didn't run out and chokeslam Cannonier in the middle of the fight. That would have been epic. And then
stop, hold on. That is because Kane is busy being the mayor of Knoxville.
Yeah, but sometimes he comes back. Periodically he comes back.
Is he really?
He is.
Yeah, he's a mayor. Yeah, he's a mayor of Knoxville. Yeah. He's a great mayor.
Oh shit, man! I might need to move to Knoxville then.
Hell yeah, baby.
Just choke slamming his way through these.
My mayor can kick your mayor's ass.
Oh man, have you not seen my fucking mayor? He's a scrawny little piece of shit.
I told you, my mayor can kick his ass.
And then Cannonier, right? He has a little dreads. He kind of looks like Booker T. What he should have done to counter that was should have done
Booker T had the big ponytail.
Well, he did it later.
Booker T had the ponytail, man.
Yeah. Earlier, 20 years ago, when Undertaker looked like Izzy last night, Booker T looked like Cannonier. Cannonier should have done the spinneroonie. And then it was
Spinneroonie?
Yeah, you never seen the Spinneroonie?
Epic Spinneroonie.
I've never seen the Spinneroonie. Can you pull a Spinneroonie up for me? Yeah. Let me see what a Spinneroonie looks like.
You don't want to know what a Spinneroonie looks like.
I got to know what a Spinneroonie. You can't throw out a name like Spinneroonie and not tell me and not show me what it looks like.
It is the most epic move. And
here's now it's epic. So
now it's epic.
More epic. This is more epic than like
Spinneroonie.
Doesn't Randy Orton do the Spinneroonie too?
Oh, isn't this just like a backspin?
Booker T does the Spinneroonie.
I thought Randy Orton did the Spinneroonie also.
No, Randy Orton does the RKO. I don't know.
That's Booker T. Look at the long hair, like I said.
I've met this guy. He's a big guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He seems very nice,
guy.
by the way.
He's a great
he was
guy.
very
Spinaroonie?
nice.
Oh, here's a spin. Okay.
Oh,
little
yeah.
breakdance spinaroonie.
Okay, I can do that.
You can do
That's how
that.
you
No
spin
way
it.
you can do that.
That's how you start.
Look
That's
at
how you
that.
start. That's how you start your backspin. Or when you do it like in breakdancing, you used to do your little backspin. Yeah, that's how you start it. The spinaroonie. That's been around since Michael Jackson days, the early pop and lock breakdancing days. Come on, Dave. Jeez, man.
Come on, Dave.
I'm only a couple of years
All
old
right,
enough from
enough
being
of the
your dad
spinaroonie.
too,
You
by
can
the
get
way.
this stuff off of my.
Oh, jeez. John knows all these guys, though. That's the thing. John knows all of them.
I know exactly. Pretend that he doesn't watch WWE
Yeah,
on Sunday night over
different.
here.
He's
Not
at home
at all.
He's at home. Okay,
And
rewind.
hold on.
Fast
And
forward.
this is my problem. I've met so many of them and great guys,
Oh, super nice.
and some of them, I still stay in contact with. And anytime I say something about wrestling, I'll say, "Oh, fake, John." Yeah, I'll get right away, man. John, I heard what you said. Come on, man. You can't do that. No, predetermined.
Oh, wow. Predetermined. That's what they want to call it.
That was it.
Got
yeah.
it.
I love it.
All right. So let's jump into the Volkanovski Max Holloway talk. Okay. So there's days, we've talked about this a bunch of times. There's days you show up, but you feel like you just don't have it. And I felt like right from the get, Max seemed a little slower. Seemed like he was hesitant. He seemed like he just couldn't get off. I don't know what it was, but he was not on point last night. He was throwing ones, maybe twos. He wasn't throwing combinations. He was letting Volkanovski run away with it in terms of also in the phone booth.
Was
putting the combinations together clean.
Boy, you're right. You're right about that. But I'm just going to say he wasn't letting Volkanovski do anything. Volkanovski was doing what he wanted.
That's true.
I'm gonna say it right now, and I'm gonna get slammed, and that's okay. Kamaru Usman's a phenomenal fighter. Volkanovski is the pound for pound best fighter there is right now. He dominates great fighters, and nothing against Kamaru. He's great. He's had the great knockout against Masvidal. Had the great first win against Colby. Colby did okay in the second fight, and that can happen the same as what happened with Max and Volkanovski. But Volkanovski ends up winning that, I guess. But you take a look from that fight and take a look at who Volkanovski has fought and take a look at how easily he has dispatched of really good fighters. Now, I'll go with Ortega had him in the choke. Dude.
Which one? The guillotine or the triangle? He was in both very deep.
The first one was the guillotine, and it was freaking Josh. That was top side fucking. I mean, he just willed his way through that. He will not give in. The guy has gotten so much better since he's become champion. Mm-hmm. He's a much better fighter now than when he first fought Max Holloway and took that title. And he's gotten faster. His combinations are better. If you go and watch his first fight against Max, the speed was fairly close. You look at his second fight with Max, it wasn't even close. He was so much faster. He was more accurate. He just did whatever he wanted. Right now, and I go off of, the most stacked weight division. I go with bantamweight. Featherweight is right there. It's the next. He's dominating. They put Max in there for a third time based upon he can beat everybody. Yeah. He beat Yair Rodriguez. He beat Calvin Kattar. He beats these guys, and he beats him. The Calvin Kattar fight. He beat Calvin, so handily and so beautifully done as far as what he can do. And when we talked, I said, look, the only way that Max wins this fight is if he has that type of fight that he had with Calvin. He's got to have that kind of output. And it's exactly what you're saying is that output wasn't even close. He was throwing 4s, 5s, and 6s in that Calvin Kattar fight. You barely saw 1, 2, or 3.
Well, Volk made it very clear, and he's said this multiple times, but the one time that he said it after the Kattar fight was like, he never looks that good against me. And there's a reason why. Because the speed of Volk, the combinations inside the phone booth, he makes it a dirty, grimy fight. He doesn't allow Max to set up his combination. He doesn't allow Max to just pick him apart, point at him, and throw punches and combinations. He doesn't do that. He takes the fight to him. Max steps in, I step in too, and he's got fast, tight hands in that phone booth. He was throwing uppercut, left hook, right hook, and then stepping out and throwing again. I was like,
he does not get hit that much.
No.
He really doesn't, man. You look, take a look at what's landing, and you'll see it's glancing off of the glove, glancing off the arm, glancing off the shoulder. He doesn't take solid shots. He's defensively very good. He's not this brawler. He is a very technical stand-up fighter.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
look,
I can get behind.
Remember, I said I'm never voting. I'm not betting against Alexander Volkanovski anymore, and I did not. And look at what he's that good.
I'm going to get behind what you started this conversation off, but is that he's the pound for pound best fighter right now in the UFC.
He is.
I can get behind that. Because, I mean, and nothing against Usman, nothing against whoever else is below there, and nothing against them. But like you said, he is in one of the most, I'd say he's the number 2 stacked division right now. It goes bantamweight, then I think it goes featherweight, then I think it goes lightweight, maybe welterweight after that, and the rest are all just, big heavyweight guys, and no one cares. But then now you get down below to where all the talent is, the lighter guys. No, definitely, I think that he's probably the pound for pound guy right now. Nothing, like you said, nothing against Usman.
No, nothing at all. I mean, I'm not.
He's making it look easy. That's the thing, though, John. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. He's had to deal with some controversy. He's had to deal with some issues. In the Ortega fight, the guillotine, the triangle, they were so tight. You can see the pain, the grimacing, trying to get through those submissions. He fought through that adversity, made his way through it, ends up finishing the fight spectacularly. Like, he did the same thing here. He wanted to make sure that there was nothing left to talk about after this fight. And he made sure it's not even close anymore. It's not even close.
Yep.
There's no one else. There's no one else in that division. Him and Emmett will be a good fight. Like, in terms of Emmett's I get it. I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I do. But Max doesn't have I don't think Max ever had the power to knock him out.
I agree
Emmett's got the power to knock him out. But I think Volt's going to try to wrestle a little bit, and he's going to try to, and he's got the quicker hands.
He's got
much Volk with the quicker hands inside a phone booth. But if you get into exchanges,
he throws much shorter shots overall.
Yeah,
tighter, shorter. Cleaner. Yeah, exactly. And those shots are going to get there before Emmett's touch, and that's the problem for him.
Those two guys, though, even with the Yang Song Yadong or whatever, that
Song
guy
Yadong?
too. Song Yadong. He's got power as well. Let's not forget about him. I know he's got a ways to go until he gets to a title shot. I think he's number 6 or 7 right now. But I look at Josh Emmett. I look at him. Style, body-wise, speed-wise, I give it to Volk. Power-wise, I give it to Emmett. Wrestling-wise, I give it to Emmett. So it could end up being forced to be a standing fight. The timing, though, of which Volkanovski shoots, he's on point. He may be able to sneak a takedown or two and make Emmett fight off of his back, make him uncomfortable. Wrestlers never like to be on their back.
One of the things that Volk is very good with, his kicks, the timing of his kicks, the placement of his kicks, and Josh does not really kick a lot. He's more of a straight boxing, stand-up style. He'll kick every now and then, but I mean, I don't know. I just look, and that performance, you look at it and you go, you can't ask for anything, but because look, he's beating a guy that is just a dynamite fighter. Yep. And a guy that right now he can beat anyone. We've talked before. I'll say it straight up. Patricio Pitbull, power wise, he can be with Volkanovski. Speed wise, he can't.
No.
Speed wise, he can't. Volkanovski's too fast for him.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you. I get interested in the AJ McKee fight situation because speed wise it goes to AJ, and the reach and the size wise goes to AJ. And power, I'll probably give to AJ as well. So power, speed, reach, length, body size, all of those things go to AJ. Athleticism, I think goes to AJ. But Volkanovski
goes to Volkanovski.
I would right now. I got to go Volkanovski. You can't say it won't.
No.
Look, I can sit up here and say that both. Look, and we've said this, and I'm not going to continue to keep going into this Bellator versus UFC guys.
It's not. No, first off, this is not Bellator versus UFC. This is, you're talking about a fighter versus a fighter. That's what it is.
Yeah, I look at it, and I've said, and we're going to continue to say this. Doesn't matter what organization you're in. Those top 3 guys in every organization are going to give the other top 3 guys a good go.
Yeah.
Almost every single time.
Yep.
Every single time. Maybe there'll be one that stands out, sure. But the rest of those fights are going to be close. They only split each other by a percentage, maybe less. Great. Good fights. All right, let's get into Alex Bahev versus Strickland.
I was not surprised, especially after talking with Johnny Eblen, and he trained with Sean Strickland for this, and he said Strickland's just going to go straight after him, just going to be in the stand-up, go straight after him. And you look and you go, that's not a good game plan. It's just not a smart game plan. I'm not saying that you can't.
When you look at Strickland, do you see smart? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend.
But I tell you what, I see a guy. He's got it when it comes to some of the things that he says, because he'll sit there and he says, you don't like what I say? I don't care. And I love his attitude towards stuff. But when it comes to fighting in that realm against that guy, I would have liked to have seen Sean do things a little bit different. And I would have thought that's kind of like why he was training with Eblen a little bit. Maybe take some of that.
I thought so too.
Wasn't there.
Well, John, here's the thing. You just said that when and I was there when Johnny was talking about it.
Yeah.
He's just going to walk him down and try to strike with him, or he's going to just take it to him. He didn't do that, though. He stood right in front of him at range and allowed him to get off. That's why he got knocked out. If he would have tried to put him on his back foot, throw in combinations, he literally was just standing in front of him, trying to pot shot, trying to land his combination. You're not the better kickboxer. I don't care what you do. You're not the better kickboxer. So you need to make him uncomfortable.
First off,
it wasn't him backwards.
He wasn't a kickboxer. Sean was basically a boxer. Sean was going out there and boxing while Alex was going out there and using kickboxing and attacking the legs sometimes and throwing kicks sometimes. But Sean really went after, I'm gonna parry, march you down, and try to inflict damage with my hands. And it's just like, man, against that guy, I understand why you're doing that against, some of your prior opposition, Hermanson and things like that. Absolutely understand what your game plan is smart. But I know Sean's not a dumb guy. The people that he's with, Eric Nixick, not a dumb guy. This is a guy that knows exactly how to game plan for someone. And I just don't see how they thought that, being in that stand-up, I doubt that was the exact game plan.
I mean, you could have maybe thought like, hey, I'm going to fill him out for the first 2.5, 3 minutes, but
didn't get there.
It didn't really get there. So when he got to that point of, hey, maybe close the distance, let's get a takedown at the end of the round to steal the round.
Or just get into the clinch and start put pressure on him, make his arms a little heavier.
Yeah, because that he is not comfortable just yet on the ground. He's not comfortable in defending the takedowns. It's been too soon. But I've never seen a guy be so fast-tracked to a title shot.
Yeah. I told people to sign him long ago. I said, hey, man, this is the guy. You want to sign this guy? And they went, and they looked, they said, no, he wants too much money for who he is. And I go, he's going to be that guy. He's going to be the guy that everyone's going to look at. And look, he's already beaten Izzy. This is the guy that, and now look at him. And let me just say, way to go, UFC. It's the way to do this one. If he can perform the way he's performed, and in 3 fights, he has done incredibly well. Big knee knockout, that knockout against Strickland. I mean, who else is there? And Izzy knew it right away when Izzy, made his little, talk at the end. He pointed him out.
They picked his opponents really well, which is smart by them because they need this fight to happen.
Yeah.
Because Izzy's kind of ran through this group already. So they needed this fight to happen. They fast-tracked him as long as he did his part, which his part was to win, which is what he did. And he did a lot of his wins a lot of them were very impressive. His last fight was so-so, but it was a good fight. It was a fun fight to watch. He had to deal with some adversity. He almost got taken down a couple of times. He got back up to his feet.
He's still learning.
He let some combinations. He's still learning, but he doesn't have to worry about that with Izzy. Izzy ain't going to take him down. Izzy ain't going to try to take him down.
I'd be very. I would actually like to see Izzy change levels and shoot in. Come on, that would show intelligence.
All right, well, let's get into the next fight. There, you've got Barberena versus Lawler.
Against Robbie Lawler. My wife was screaming at me. I told her she sees Barberena come out. My wife knows all the old fighters, and she used to work with all of them. And she worked with Robbie, and she loves Robbie. And she goes, "Oh, Robbie can beat this guy." I go, "This dude's a tough son of a bitch." This dude, I said, "Don't judge a book by the cover." I go, "Brian is just a freaking banger. This guy's a dog." I said, "Robbie really needs to let his hands go in this." I said, because Brian's going to be all over him. I said, and sometimes Robbie starts just defending. And it started, Robbie landed some great shots on Barberena at times. He did. But then he would back off and he would just regroup. But it's like, why are you regrouping? You should be in the middle of that, like finishing that off. And when he got the elbows, that was the difference maker. The elbows that Barberena, he would throw the ones jumping inside, across on the clinch, and they hit Robbie and hurt him. You could see Robbie got hurt in the first round. Now, he hurt Barberena twice in the first round. He got hurt once. Mm-hmm. And then in the second round, he got hurt, near the end there. He got hurt. He got stung near the beginning. He made his way through it. At the end, he couldn't stop what was happening. And it was a good stoppage by Mark Smith, I believe it was.
It was a good stoppage for sure.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Robbie Lawler fan.
Same here.
I'm a jock rider when it comes to Lawler, man.
Yeah,
he's got a great personality. He's a great man. Like, he's very humble when you talk to him. He's funny when you get to know him. He's really got some funny. He's really funny when you get to know him. He's a hard nut to crack though from the beginning. He's like, oh yeah, he's very kind of one worded, maybe 2 words out. But once you get to know him, he's fun, man. He's a good guy. And whatever he decides to continue to do, if he keeps fighting, great. If he doesn't, I mean, he'll be a first ballot. He should be a first ballot.
40 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife was sitting there and she saw they put up this thing and 40 years old. She goes, "Oh my God, Robbie's 40." She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so old."
He was 20 years old. I think 19 when when he got signed. Yeah, he was 19 when he got signed. Yeah, he's a stud. He's gonna always be a stud, but he's a great person, great individual. So then you got Pedro Munoz and Sean O'Malley. Eye poke. John, talk to me, man. Talk to me through this eye poke situation. Talk to me through this bullshit. Let me know what's going on. Tell me.
Well,
I know everyone at home, especially fighters that listen to us, I know you guys don't know what the hell just happened. I know. Like, you guys are acting like, oh, it should have been this, should have been that. You guys don't know. You guys don't know the rules. So that's why when these type of things come up, I go right to John. I'm like, hey, talk to me. Tell me, walk me through this. Should this have went to the scorecards? Did it go to the scorecards? I couldn't hear it. Couldn't. No. It had to go into the third?
It had to go into the third round. This is a 3-round fight. It must enter the third of it. Right now, you take a look. Sean O'Malley didn't do anything wrong, though. He had his hand exactly like they're going to tell him to do. You can have your fingers straight up. How did he have his fingers? They're straight up. Now, it's just part of the game. It did not look, and I'm not doubting Pedro at all, but it was not one of those looks where you go, oh man, that really went in his eye. It like touched the face and the eye area, and you can see he blinked right off of it. I was surprised when he said, all I can see is black, because there have been eye pokes where you look and you go, oh, I mean, Fabricio Verdum against Travis Brown. Take a look. That thing is second knuckle deep into his eye. And he continued on in the fight, and you go, damn, how did you continue on in the fight after that? And this one, Pedro can't. But I've never known Pedro in any fashion to be a guy that would back out of anything, quit. He's tough as hell. I actually thought he was fighting well. Who did you think won the first round?
John, to be honest, it was one of those toss-em fights. One of the toss-em rounds. Like,
exactly.
I didn't care who you gave it to. I didn't care who you gave it to.
And because Pedro won the leg kicking contest. Okay, now Sean did a great job of checking some of those.
He did
compared to what he used to do in the past. So obviously he's learned, and he's going, okay, I can't just take those. Smart move. I thought Sean in the stand-up landed the better shots overall, but it was close. I thought Sean was starting to actually pull a little bit away from him in the second round.
I could see that.
And that's where people are going to come in and say, oh, he wanted out of the fight. I don't think he wanted out of the fight. I think he actually couldn't see out of his eye. And if you're going to be in there against someone like O'Malley, who is a sniper, very good at long range, you've got to break through that. Don't go back out there if you can't see. And, I thought he did, it's the right thing. Don't lie. Don't sit there and say I'm fine when you can't see. You say, if you can't, you can't. I thought Jason did the right thing in trying. He tried to get the wet towel, which is the new thing that we, try to do is, many times if you can take that wet towel, put it in your eye, it helps. It just gives moisture to it.
Flushes it out.
Makes it feel good.
Yeah.
The doctor came in and right away, as soon as I heard Pedro say, I can't see anything, I see black. I go, this fight's over. They're not going to start it. The doctor will never start it once the fighter says, I see black. That's it.
Well, John, he went to the emergency. They took him in the ambulance. So there must have been something behind it. There's not just that, but then
it doesn't take much to scratch a cornea, which will make it to where you can't hardly open your eye. Mm-hmm. And so it just happens. Unfortunate that it's the first fight on the main card and it starts the show and you get that, but it's fighting. This happens. It's not the fighter's fault. It's not O'Malley's fault. It wasn't Pedro's fault. It wasn't the UFC's fault. It wasn't the commission's fault. It's just circumstances. This is what happens in fighting sometimes.
What I liked is there was no acting. Pedro just had his eye closed. He's like, oh man, there was no there was none of that. There was none of that acting shit that we've seen before from people. No, but he couldn't open his eye. Said all he see was black. Something was obviously scratched. Went to the emergency. Didn't see him at the nightclub later partying, but he was actually probably at the hospital hanging out, doing things like that.
He was getting those the drops that numb it.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll see. Obviously, we're going to see him back, and then Sean O'Malley. Where does he go from here?
I think he just
move on.
Yeah. Look, it's a bump in the road. It's not a loss. I think personally, I thought Sean was winning the fight. It was close, but he was starting to take over in it. He was starting to get the idea of Pedro's not going to just be this guy that comes forward like he did in the past. He's going to be, trying to stay out away and make little rushes in. He was figuring that part out. I think Sean O'Malley he's going to be good. I mean, he is.
Zoom in on that, Dave?
I can't say he's going to be good. He is good. It's just a matter of, couple more fights.
Does he go to Rob Font? Does he go to?
Nah. See,
Rob Font's might be too much of a step. I mean,
I think Rob Font's a hard fight for him. Yeah. Now, I think he could take the fight to the ground. I think his ground is much better than Rob Font's ground. But there's certain ones in there you can take a look and go, I still like the Dominic Cruz fight.
If you're Dom, though, are you taking that fight?
No, you're taking Marlon Vera, that's why he's taking Marlon Vera.
Yeah.
He's got that fight coming up.
I don't think he doesn't want Merab.
No.
You got to stay away from Merab. And then Sandhagen's too much. I think as of right now, Sandhagen's. You don't want to go backwards. You don't want to fight Ricky Simone. You don't want to fight,
Well, you're not going backwards.
I think he'll jump in rankings after that performance. I think he'll go up a little bit in rankings.
You think so?
I think he'll skip Ricky Simone and he may even skip Frankie.
So you think Pedro's going down?
No, I think he'll leave Pedro where there is, and they'll just bump everyone else down, and he'll go right behind Song Yadong.
Maybe.
So who knows? We'll see. I'm spitballing here, buddy. Come on, you're supposed to ride with me.
Right. Get on this goddamn train.
Jalen Turner looked absolutely amazing. I didn't expect to see that. That's what I didn't expect to see.
No, not that fast. Not that fast.
Just quick.
I don't know how Jalen gets to 155 pounds.
He's so tall.
Holy shit, he's tall for him.
He's such a nice guy.
Oh, he's a great guy. But I mean, you take a look and he's kind of the future, and he's proving it, man. He's going out there and look, that win against that guy, Brad Riddell is a dynamite fighter. He is tough as hell. He's got great stand-up. He's got good, submission defense, and he got racked with that right hand that hit him hard, and he immediately goes into the grappling scenario, and then, he did the right thing in he tried to hold the leg, and you look at what Jalen Turner did, pushed that leg away, gets his hand inside, that was tight. Yeah. I can't wait to see who they put him against next because, look, he's in the top 10. Yeah. I don't know if was Jalen even ranked in the top 15?
I don't think he was, but Riddell was number 9, I believe.
Yeah,
somewhere in there. He was
he's
like
got to be in the top 10.
9 or 10, somewhere there. Dave, rankings?
Tell me who you
Lightweight.
think should fight Jalen Turner next, though.
So Turner is Dave flopping around in here.
He's all over.
He's not even.
That's pound for pound. There we go.
That's lightweight.
So he beat Riddell. He beat Riddell at number 14. So I mean, Saryukin's a bad fight for him. Why not Tony Ferguson?
I agree.
That's a good comeback fight for Tony if he wants to fight. If he wants to keep fighting.
C2 or
experience
or C2 guys from Southern California there. Benil, Dariush.
Oh, that's true. Benil. Yeah, Benil's up there though, right? Or he down to 6.
He's at 6.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe because he just fought. Maybe he fights the winner of Fiziev and Dos Anjos.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll fight that because Dos Anjos trains at Ruka also.
Yep.
And Jalen Turner's at Ruka. So,
Jalen
I mean, that may not happen. But if Fiziev wins, then I could see him maybe fighting that fight. That'd be a good fight for him. All right, next fight. Dun, dun, dun.
Cerrone and
Cerrone and Miller.
I thought Cerrone was actually looking really good. Stand up wise, he was looking good. Jim Miller was doing fine. He was staying real tight. But like the kick, they both kicked. It was Cerrone's that landed.
Yeah.
You know, it hit close to where he wanted, right up against the neck. He just fell down. And when he did, you know, Miller's always been good on the ground. People don't, they don't give him credit for what he's done. He's a solid black belt.
He submitted Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, there you go. See? Well, that's the point.
Good.
People don't give him credit for he's a dynamite fucking grappler. He just tends to now stand up more and doesn't really go into a lot of grappling scenarios and stuff. But I just look at it. It was, in my opinion, this was a good fight for the UFC to put each guy against.
Absolutely.
Both of them with the most wins. Whoever got the win in this was going to be the guy that takes and has that now. Cerrone, in the end, he retires. Again, I can't wait for someone to say he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. Come on. Are you kidding?
Here with that nonsense.
Are you fucking nuts? This guy has been there, done it all, fought a who's who of everyone, always stepped up to the plate. This is what a Hall of Famer looks like. Donald Cerrone, I would tell you, thank you so much for the times that I was able to share the cage with you. It was an honor for me. You were always every bit the athlete that everyone would want you to be in both performance, the way you acted, everything. The one time I ever saw Donald Cerrone lose it was when? Do you recall?
No, I don't.
He fought Miles Jury, and Miles got into his head so much he hated him. And at the end of the fight, he's got Miles on the ground. You want to see the hardest kicks ever landed. Look at the kicks that Donald Cerrone lands on Miles Jury on his legs and ass. It is unbelievable how hard he is kicking him. He was like, everything he could put into it, he was putting into it. And I was like, wow, he really did get to you. But, I mean, awesome career.
He is one of those guys that I look at that he's the one that got away from me.
Yeah.
He's the fight that I always wanted. And out of nothing but respect. Not in like, oh, I want to beat you. Of course you want to beat him.
Watch these leg kicks. Watch these leg kicks.
Oh,
Watch how hard he goes. Everything he has, and he's throwing into those things.
I remember this.
Oh, dude, I was like, God damn, you're a little bit upset. Okay.
I just, out of nothing but respect, because the guy was just so fun to watch fight. Stylistically, I love the matchup because it could have been on the feet, and he doesn't get enough credit for how good his ground game is. He's got a fantastic armbar triangle game as well as sweeps and hook sweep game. He's a phenomenal fighter, very well-rounded fighter. He was the fight that I always wanted. He was that guy that just, I was like, man, all I had heard was that when I was with Strikeforce or when I was with Pride, was that, he's the guy to fight. He was, because it was him, Benson Henderson, and then Pettis came in a little bit after that. those were the guys, man. Jamie Varner, Rob McCullough. I fought Rob, beat Rob, like Varner, and I had some words a couple times. Just
Jamie
fighters
was a tough fighter.
He was. Had heavy
good boxing,
hands.
good wrestling.
Yep, good wrestling, good boxing, exactly. So I don't know. He was the one that got away from me, but I can't say enough about how fun it was to watch him fight throughout his career.
Oh, yeah.
People don't, you got to put some respect on his name because you said, he's fought the who's who. Yeah, but majority of the time he fought the who's who, he fought it on 3 weeks' notice.
That's true.
He didn't have a full camp. Sometimes he'd take 10 days. Okay, yeah, you know what? I got offered to fight. Okay, I'll fight. Sure, I'm ready. Like, that's the kind of person he is. He kind of shot himself in the foot. He probably could have got more title shots out of it all had he not done that. But he did it because he was in it to make money. He's a prize fighter.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a company guy, man. If you called him on 5 days notice, 10 days notice, we need you to fight, I'm in. Who is it? Let me know. Okay.
Yep.
That was it. That's the kind of fighter he was. If you're a promotion, if you're a promoter, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone to step up in any call situation. I need you to fill in, please. Do me a favor. I had heard reports that the UFC really wasn't taking care of him as well as they could have, things like that, which is kind of upsetting. But I look at fighters like him, who I think in the long run, he'll be still sitting front row at every fight because of what he's given to the sport, what he's given to the UFC, WC, all of those things.
Yeah.
You look at guys like Chuck Liddell. I put him right up there with that Chuck Liddell type. He's given so much to help build this brand. And he is such a positive influence, I think, for these young kids and everyone like that. Oh, sure, he drinks Budweiser and he does crazy things. Okay, but
that's what makes him who he is.
Yeah, right. And this young generation, they love guys that are out wakeboarding, doing flips at fucking 40 years old.
Dude, he's doing stunt pilot shit. He's doing fucking wakeboarding, motocross. He races freaking trucks and buggies across the desert. Everything that is adrenaline based, that dude loves. That's why we all love him.
Well, first off, he's got a son named Danger. Come on.
And Riot. I think.
Come on,
isn't his other kid's name Riot?
I think it is.
I love that.
That's awesome. All right, I want to wish him a very
congratulations
happy life after fighting, man. Great retirement, and congratulations on such an amazing career. Yep. Let's get into some of the other stuff. Okay, is there any other fights down here that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to say Gabriel Green fought a very tough fight. Yeah. He's not going to get the credit for the fight that he put on against Ian Gary, but look, when you're having to walk through fire to try to land things, and it is not an easy thing to do, especially as the rounds go on. And after you take big shots, you get put on your butt. Gabriel Green fought one hell of a fight. Now, Ian Gary won the fight, no doubt about it. It will never show that was a 30-27, but it was a lot closer fight than what those scorecards will show. Gabriel Green had his moments. He was doing well. He caused problems for Ian Gary. And he definitely, in my opinion, his stock went up with the performance he had against Gary.
I agree. And like you said, 30-27 doesn't represent how close fights can be sometimes. I go back to the half-point scoring system because of that situation. Like, sure, they were close, but he only won by this much. Each round with one big shot could have changed the round. And it was a very good dog dirty fight. Where he had to dig deep in some situations, and he did. It just wasn't quite enough.
Yeah.
Good stuff, though. What other fights on here?
Duplessis, that dude's crazy. he throws hard.
Yeah. I was surprised, though, John, that he was having such success with the damage. It seemed like every time he touched Brad Tavares, he was getting cut up. More blood, more of this. I was like... Yeah. This guy must have some power in his hands because every time he touched Brad, he was cut, more blood. It seemed like there was always a new cut.
Well, what's strange is you look at his background and his K1 style background stuff, but when he attacks. You always talk about, look at, don't just throw the 2, the 3, keep on throw that 4. This guy, but he tends to, as he's going, he's rushing forward, trying to land those extra, and he's squaring up. You're going, oh God, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And every now and then he gets touched. But I thought that Brad won the first round, and I thought Duplessis came back, and because of damage, he ended up hurting Brad enough to where, he got the win. But I mean, I just look at it. That was a fight that Brad Tavares is going to go back and look at and go, I should have won that fight.
Then Jessica Ai, she also retires, and it's time. I think she realizes, the stock it's just come to a close. At the end of the day, the speed was a factor, the strength, the aggression, all of those things were a factor. I think the drive after her loss to Shevchenko kind of really just it went
waned.
away.
Yeah.
It's like, look, after you build up all that time to get to a title shot, you get there, and then you lose the way that she lost. It's hard to come back from, man. Like not personality, but confidence wise and your mentality to get back on track. I can get back and I can do it.
To do all the hard work.
It's hard. All the hard work to get back to that shot.
Well,
she got her shot, and
I think it's the same as, you listen to Cerrone. He said, Joe interviews him real quick. And he says, I just don't love it anymore. And you know that feeling, because at a certain point in your life, fighting was everything. You loved it. You loved going to the gym to train. You loved every bit of it. It was exciting and things when you were learning things new. And then it comes to the point where not only is it just hard work, now it's kind of monotonous and horrible because you don't love it anymore. And that's about the time.
You lose a little bit of love for it when you realize you can't do the things that you used to be able to do. And when you're not performing at your best, like Cerrone, he's got 10 more fights left in him. There's no reason to do it, though.
Nah.
What are you going to get out of it outside of just money? That's the thing. Like, he understands he was always in that top 4, 6, 7 area, back and forth.
Yeah.
When you get out of that area, you're like, this is not who I am. I'm a fucking winner. And if I'm not going to be at the top, then this is not who I am. And I could see it. Like, that helps you fall out of love with what you've given your life to. I no longer feel the urge to go in every single day and give it 110% against these young studs that are in there trying to take my head off, trying to prove to them that they can beat the old lion. I don't have that. Like, you don't love that feeling of the young lions in your own gym that you're friends with.
You're friends for a little while.
And now having their way with you. And it's like, man, this sucks. You don't want to feel that. You don't want to feel that way against them, your friends that you're training with. And you definitely don't want to feel that way against somebody in the cage, knowing that, damn, if I was a little bit younger, I'd own you, but I'm not. And I can't do the things that I need to do in training anymore. And then you start to fall out of love with the fact that that's not who you are anymore. This isn't me. I'm not the best version of myself in that cage. And that starts to wane on you. And that's what makes you fall out of love with it. And I think that's I could be wrong, but that's what it was for me. I mean, and I get the feeling that with Donald, he'd been at the top for so long. I mean, 20 years pretty much. I mean, 15, 18 years, he's been at the top fighting the who's who. In different weight classes, by the way. I mean, stud. But it was not there anymore, and we don't love it anymore. Don't do it.
Yep.
When you're just doing it for money, which I get. Some people do. They love the drive for the money. And he seemed like he always loved the drive for the money too. But
that's because he likes spending money.
Yeah, but he loved it. He loved the sport. And that's what gives him that drive to make that money. Oh, I can make a lot of money. But when you start to lose that feeling of, you just know it's not you. You know that's not who you are. It's good to step away. And I'm glad he did it now.
Yeah. Jessica Ai, same thing.
Same thing for Jessica Ai.
Yeah.
And then Jessica Rose Clark, great armbar, great finish, disgusting finish, but like, I mean, sorry, Jessica Rose Clark got finished, but I'm saying like that was a nasty armbar.
Yes,
nasty.
It was.
Gave me flashbacks to Misha Tate. It was so gross, John, to watch it. Ugh. I'm telling you, when I fought Benson and my thumb was going up into my skin and my skin was all wrinkled, I was like, this is gross. I couldn't think about the fight. I was thinking about how my skin and my hands it's all disformed. It just was horrible.
I was just like, I was looking at you going, come on, suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah,
pull out your thumb, man.
Such a puss. All right, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC 276, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wraps up our 276 UFC talk. Now let's jump right into the PFL. We'll go right to the main event of the PFL. And Kayla Harrison versus Caitlin Young. Kayla Harrison made short work. It was it was nicely done. Big takedown, love the takedown too. Stepped in, boom, big lift, big slam, nicely done. Top position, was chasing around some ground and pound, some submission a little bit, but then just the finish. She's a stud. I mean, people are gonna sit here and judge her because she's she stayed with the PFL. Let's remind people, she did not have a choice. She had to go back. They had the rights to match.
As long as they match, she can't go anywhere.
Is no different than like when you say, oh, LeBron James wants to go here, but then the Cavs have, or whoever he's playing with, they have the right to match the contract if they want. And that's exactly what they did. They said, you know what? For the $1 million plus the $1 million to win, we don't want you going anywhere. You stay here and fight for us. They decided it was worth it. I don't know if it was, because she's not real. She's fighting the same females over and over, and she's making short work of them all. When does the motivation start to slip away and be like, hey, look, I've beaten this girl 3 times in the last 3 years. It's going to get it's going to start, and then you start not training as hard.
It's going to come to a head quickly. You watch. Because this is what it comes down to. When you are that supreme athlete, and she is, you got to give it to her. This is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, okay?
Yeah.
And she is used to winning. And she's used to winning against what she considers elite competition. Now that she's in this position of fighting, she was okay fighting, ladies that didn't have that great a record as she was learning. Now she believes, hey, I'm as good as anyone. In fact, I think I'm better than everyone, and I want to prove it. There's no way for her to prove it there. She can't. They have got to do something as far as they either have to sign Chris Cyborg to come to the PFL, do a deal with Bellator and Scott Coker to do a cross promotion, or do the same thing with Amanda Nunes, who is, I guess, kind of no longer really a teammate of hers. Amanda kind of moved out, so I guess that fight could happen more readily now. Maybe, I don't know, but they're going to have to do something because she's not going to stay quiet for long. She likes the money.
You'd be surprised what money does to you, though.
Yeah. When you are a competitor, you'll start to talk.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how long that contract was for. Was it just for the one season? Is it a multiple season deal? Like, I don't know. I know she got paid out the freaking ass.
Oh yeah, I know the number.
Yeah, that's a big number. Has a lot of zeros and
Congratulations to her.
Has a lot of commas.
It's got a little commas. It's got some commas in there. Yeah.
It's got a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go though.
When you start getting more than 2 commas, it's a good number.
All right. Sada boy Sai.
Boy, were we wrong. John.
Totally.
Were we wrong.
I thought Rory will take this fight to the ground. He will get him down. And he will beat up on him. Oh,
he tried to get him to the ground.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, man, and Rory, he looks like he's slowing down a little bit on the feet. I know his size a little bit. He's fast. He's athletic. All of those things, but Rory wasn't throwing the combinations either. Wasn't hiding the hands behind the kicks or the kicks behind the hands. Whatever he chose to do before.
Do you see a difference in confidence though, compared to the guy that was once there?
Maybe a little bit, but here's the thing. I look at it too. Like when he goes from one promotion to the next. We know he's chasing the big money. That's what he's doing.
He's been there for this is his second season there. Not like it's second.
I think this is his third.
Is this his third?
I think it is. I think
you might be right. I think this is his third.
Yeah. This is the start of his third, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And 22, so I think it's only 2 seasons, Josh.
Oh, maybe, huh? 21. So he did 21.
Yeah, and he's in Bellator.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't fight the whole of 2020.
Oh, gotcha. I'm wrong. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
He just couldn't get the takedown. He was pressing the pace. He was trying to stay in his grill. But Sada Boussaid knew that the takedown was coming.
Yep.
He knew it was coming. He just kept his legs bent, dropped the underhooks. I would like to see Rory mix it up a little bit. Maybe feint the takedown, throw the head kick, feint the takedown, throw the jumping knee, something like that. Because look, what's the worst that can happen? You end up on bottom. Okay, cool. Now maybe I can work into a sweep situation.
Yeah.
Rory's got a good half guard sweep. He utilizes it very well, almost like Lovato Jr. He just wasn't able to get the fight there. You know, there was a moment there, I think in this first round, maybe it was the first, he ended up in that half guard position working on that sweep. He got back up to the single leg, but he couldn't get the takedown from then on.
Yeah.
Ray Cooper did what he needed to do because I don't think he would have gotten the playoffs. And he did it fast. Very smart. Very smart. Because, you know, as Ray goes on, Ray still has power. He'll have power in the second. He'll have power in the third. But this was a good fight. It was supposed to be a good fight, but Ray just came out real quick and put on the pace. Just started throwing the heavy shots. And Cooper was just like balled up. Took a couple big shots, tried to throw back for a second.
Yeah.
Took another couple big shots, and then finally enough was enough.
Yeah. You can't win from a hiding position.
Yeah.
You're asking for them to stop it.
Yeah,
Magomed Karamov.
Yep.
Look good. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
John.
Yeah.
It took him a little while in that first round to kind of get warmed up.
Yeah.
Got the takedown, did some good work in the first round, but it wasn't like anything spectacular. But in that second round, that little backhand that started the whole downfall of that thing, I was like, where did you get? Because Taylor threw the push kick, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he missed. And then Magomed Karamov pushed it off to the side and just hit the backhand right off of that. And that wobbled Taylor. Then he chased him down, hit him with the 2-punch or the 3-punch combo. And he went stiff. He went boom. Body went stiff on the way down. Bam, hit. Very nicely done. Good good work. I mean, you expect that, though, from someone who's in your finals from the year before.
Yes.
Those are the fights that you expect from Ray Cooper.
That's what you got from Ray Cooper and Magomed. Yeah. So
it's almost like they knew, like, you know what, we need these wins to get us in the playoffs. Okay, sure, I'll get it real quick.
Let me
get this win real quick. Yeah, I need 6 points. Let me get this win real quick.
Yeah.
Very nicely done. Pacheco, you know what? Surprised shit out of me. I didn't realize that she was going to get the takedown so easy. I know she's tough. I know she's good. She's a grinder. She can get, but I didn't expect her to get that takedown so easily. She was chasing that submission, that side choke for a while.
Yeah.
Finally gave up on it. Was like, you know what? Let me just go to ground and pound. Done deal.
But that's the whole thing with Jenna. Mm-hmm. If she's on her feet, she's good. But if you can take her off her feet, there's nothing there of danger from that point. It's a matter, can you keep her down? If you can keep her down, you're just going to beat up on her, and that's kind of what happened.
True story. Yep. This is the only fight that I saw. I saw this fight. I didn't see any of the prelims. Sorry, I saw the Umalatov or whatever. Good fight.
Umalov?
Yeah, against Al Salwali. Yeah. I saw a little bit of it. I didn't see all of it.
I saw the finish on it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Got it. All right. Well,
overall, it was, it kind of went.
They needed some finishes. They needed the finishes.
Well, they needed finishes. They got you. This is the problem. You've got Kayla Harrison as your main event, and you need to have someone for her to fight. If you're the PFL, you got to find somebody.
Where do you go from here? I mean, John, they've got some good fighters in this promotion.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of good fighters. I mean, like, to me, Magomed Karamov, Cooper. I'm still a big fan of Anthony Pettis. I know he's coming off his loss, but I mean, they've got good fighters in there. What's his name? The one that beat Pettis, not Ray.
Clay Collard
just beat him. No, Clay Collard. He's another good guy. You've got certain fighters that are in that mix, man, that are there, that are good names. They fight well. Chris Wade is a fucking stud right now. Yep. He's just fucking performing like no one's business. So I don't know. You just gotta find. I don't know. I feel the same way a little bit with Bellator though. We gotta find more ways to market our top talent. Just got to be different ways to do it. You got to get them. I also feel like you need to have these speeches. And one thing that you got to have these conversations with these fighters. Look, we're looking for the guys that stand out and the females that stand out. Just going out there and getting decision wins ain't gonna get it done. You trying to be a star? What are you trying to do? What is your goal? Is your goal to go out there and play it safe and collect a check? Because if it is, then you're in the wrong show.
That's okay. No, you'll collect your check, but you'll never get another one from me. And that's the first thing that I would make very clear. Hey, I don't care if you win or lose. I really don't.
Boom.
I care that you perform. I care that you go out and give me everything that you can give me. I care that you give these fans who paid money for these seats something to talk about. You do that and you lose, I promise you, you'll be back.
See, that's the thing. That's
you
go out
and you perform and have a stagnant bummer fight and you win. Don't think that you're guaranteed of being back.
Yeah. That's the one conversation that Pride had with every fighter when we walked in.
Yeah.
They said, if you go out there and lay it on the line, I guarantee you'll be back.
Yep.
They're like, we don't care. We don't care if you win or lose.
Care if
All
you lose.
we care is that you lay it all out there.
That's it.
Holy shit. Yeah, and that's why they had if you go back in history and you watch the Pride fights, they had some of the best fucking fights. Those guys, man, they fought to the bitter end.
You saw guys who really didn't have much of a chance against their opponent really fucking go after him. You go, whoa, look at this guy going after him. And it was because it was like, I want to be back. Maybe I'll lose, but I'm going to give it everything I have and I'm going to make this exciting. And they did. And you go, that for me, if I was in charge, which I never will be, but hey, I don't care if you win or lose. I care about how you perform.
Yeah, I can see that. We should have those conversations.
Yeah.
All right, hey, that's going to wrap up our PFL talk. We're going to jump into some news.
All right, I'm going to give you guys
Dave.
one story since
Let's
UFC
go.
was a very comprehensive recap. I'm going to have you guys comment on this. Josh had mentioned it earlier, so we'll jump into this and then we'll wrap up. A couple of these items will fall into the 5-round main event this week, so make sure you guys tune in later in the week for 5-round main event on the Extra channel. Let me get your reaction to Luke Rockhold saying that he's the one that can beat Izzy. And Josh, anything else you took away from last night that you want to add here? Feel free to go ahead.
John, there's no doubt that I believe that Luke can do it. There's no doubt, especially if he's working on his wrestling and his grappling. That's the biggest thing. If this fight hits the ground, I don't think Izzy gets out of 2 minutes. If the fight hits the ground, I don't think he can survive Luke Rockhold for 2 minutes.
Okay, but if it doesn't hit the ground,
Luke's
I
in
don't
trouble.
think Luke can't survive that fight. Nope.
No.
Not if he's fighting.
I can't say that he won't survive. I can't say that I don't think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
On the feet, he won't win. I can't say Izzy hasn't shown me as of lately that he's got the killer instinct to knock anybody out right now. And now I do agree that, and that's all I'm only going based off his last couple performances. That's all I'm going based off. I'm not talking about the history of Izzy because we know what he's capable of. I'm simply saying that he's now comfortable with just sitting back, touching you. And if he knocks you out, cool. If he doesn't care because he's still getting paid. That's kind of what I'm getting right now from Izzy. I'm not going to take too many chances. As long as I'm winning the fight, I'm good to go. That's what I'm getting right now. Now, if Luke gets this fight to the ground, I think that he finishes Izzy. Now, if on the feet, there is, I'd say, 70% chance he finishes Luke on the feet. But it depends on which Izzy shows up. The one that goes after him and chases after him and not chases after him, but tries to walk him down and piece him up and touch him, then yeah, I could see that. But the one that just circles and stays away and touch, I don't know.
I'm going to say it this way. The real question is this. Luke is now at a different camp, been there for a while. Have they fixed some of the issues that used to cause Luke some problems, especially in the stand-up? He had certain tendencies that people started to actually figure out, and when they figured them out, everyone saw that blueprint and went after it, and Luke wasn't able to adjust to it. So how is he now with his new camp and everything he's been doing? Has he fixed those things that tended to give him problems near the end when he was fighting? If the fight hit the ground, and if the fight hits the ground, look, Luke Rockhold is way better on the ground than people realize. He is top-notch, high-level grappling. He is slick with his transitions. His setups are really nice. His positioning is fantastic. He doesn't look heavy. He's super fucking heavy. He on the ground, I think he would give Izzy problems. He's got to get the fight to the ground there. And if there was ever a thing that was not his strong suit, was his wrestling was adequate.
Yeah, mediocre.
It was adequate. It was never, wow, he's really got some slick takedowns. He really changes levels well. That's not who he is. So that's my real question. Can he get the fight down? Has he worked on that now it's a strength? I don't know.
To go back to his grappling, the reason why I say, and you just said the same thing, is that his grappling is so good is because of his body style, his length. He's got the leverage to pull and twist and torque. Look what he did to Tim Bosch. He just yanked his arm right out. Boom. Just using his leverage, just using his length and his reach on everything. He is strong as hell, too. He's not a small guy. People don't realize.
No, he's
for 185, he's big for 185. Yeah. Like, he didn't have to really put it on any weight when he fought Blachowicz. When he fought Jan Blachowicz, he didn't have to put a lot of weight on because that's what he walks around at. He walks around 212, 215 easily. I mean, there's moments where I'd seen him, he was up to 220. Yeah. I mean, now I saw him last night. He's lean, and I've seen, we talk quite a bit, and we're back and forth on Instagram. He's lean, he's ripped. He's been in this long camp. Remember, he was supposed to fight Strickland, then he got hurt. Then he was supposed to fight Costa, then the fight got pushed. He's been in camp for probably a good 4 or 5 months.
Long time.
And it's been in camp for a long time. He's ripped, he's lean, he's active. But has he worked on his wrestling enough to get this fight to the ground where he is better, I think, than almost all these guys at 185 on the ground? He's phenomenal. The guy is good. Really good. I'll give you guys an example. He was a brown belt. I think he had I'm not sure if he just beat Weidman or if he had fought somebody else. Maybe it was after the Bosch fight. He flew, the Gi Worlds was the next day in Long Beach. He flew straight the next day. He flew and competed the next day in Gi Worlds. I think he ended up placing like 3rd or 2nd or something like that. It was after a night of partying. He won. He won, went out. You know what? Fuck it. Jumped on a plane, went and competed because his match wasn't until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Competed and then ended up taking like 2nd or 3rd. He lost in the finals. He lost in the. That's how good he is. Just shows up. These guys, and it's in a gi.
Yeah.
So
completely different.
Phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Yeah, it's totally different. Just look, I can sit here and I can boast him up and tell you guys, without being biased, he's got the talent. Just a matter of if he has the mindset when he gets in there to fight the talent. Yeah, he's always had the talent.
The question is his head in the game the way it needs to be?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, go to WeighingInPodcast.com. Pick up some of our merch. We've got some new shirts that are available. We got our 5-round main event shirt that's new, but hashtag and still. And of course, Josh Isms. Hindsight is 50-50. Let's never forget about that. I'm actually going to make a shirt that says Joshism and the definition. And it'll be like all the shit that I've ever said.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yes, that's a good one, right?
Rebel Lion is actually making a couple other shirts for us as well. So he's working on a couple of new designs right now. So, all right. Yeah, make sure you guys
give him a follow on social media.
That guy has, just looking at the Rebel Lion artwork thing there, and it's Rebel Lion, but it looks like Rebellion artwork. And I think he did that
as a play on words.
Exactly, which is actually really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Sorry for the late drop. I was in L.A. for Fight Japan with Brennan Schaub and the crew with Rockhold and Trevor Wallace. And Big John was out mowing the fields for Miss McCarthy pretty much since yesterday because it's about 80
just
acres
jumped in here
or
to do
whatever
this right now. Hot as hell.
Jumped in here. It's 100 degrees. We got you out of the hot and into the more hot inside a barn, tin can.
Don't screw with my barn, dude.
Podcast Dave's in Austin getting ready to go watch the fireworks tonight. I don't know why tonight.
What?
It's tomorrow. Yeah, so weird.
I mean,
look, Austin does everything backwards.
Texas, man. Texas, we just celebrate independence all the time, We just love our freedom.
You're independent of independence.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're strange.
And I apologize to the video viewers for Big Johnny get closer and closer throughout the show. You can't teach an old dog
moving around.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
I'm sorry,
did
brother.
A long lecture before the show. So he got closer and closer. He just wanted to show off his wrinkles, I think. So that's what it was,
There he goes. Back to where
How's
he
that
was.
Better? Just tell me.
No, you know what it was, right? John doesn't like when I'm bigger than him, so he starts to scoot closer because it makes him bigger. He's like, I'm feeling small. I gotta get closer.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't wait till the day that you're bigger than me. You got that fat dad bod.
There's no way I'm ever gonna. There's no way, John. Have you not seen us standing next to each other? Your fucking bones will be bigger than me for the rest of my life. Even if you had no skin or muscle, Jesus. Yeah, all right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy this show. I am fast. That's what she said. All right, John, take us away.
To everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the fights like we did. Some good stuff coming up. Do us a favor. Have a great time on the 4th of July. Enjoy each other. Party on. But be safe. Take care of each other. Do something good for someone, and we will see you.
This is lose your finger time of the year, okay? So be very careful, you guys. Be very careful. Do not drink and drive. Also, cops are out everywhere. Please be safe from both of us. Normally it's just from John, but from both of us, please be safe. Please be safe. Have a happy 4th.